So it's a while since I've done a tutorial of any description, and as part of me getting into model railway, this is going to be the first. I'm going to do it very much without any bells and whistles. I'm not going to bother with the title sequence or etc, etc, etc. I'm just going to get into it, and the reason it's being prompted was I bought a very nice collection of trains and all sorts, track, etc, and in amongst came this GaugeMaster, and I was using it on the Hornby rolling road. The collection also came with the GaugeMaster rolling road, but what I was finding was that as I was turning this, the light was about 30 to 40%. The light was going out, and I thought, okay, it's probably had more wear than I expected. It's not what I was told when I was told that this collection was hardly used. And when I look at the actual device, it does look very clean, clever, and without any real wear or any sort of feelings that it's actually had a lot of wear. But every time, in exactly the same spot, about 30 to 40% going round, the red LED on both sides went out. So I thought, obviously this guy ran his engines around 30-40%, and this is where the wear's come in. So I thought, right, okay, we'll chance having a look at it after I'd got to the point where I could do without it for a little while. And one of the things that's very apparent is that they are not made for servicing, and in real terms, it's, you know, in the UK we have 240 volt electricity, and to mess with that is unwise because you usually don't get a second chance. I've been lucky over the years. I have had one or two tingles, and so far I'm still on the right side of the undertaker, but you only get one shot wrong, and it's one error and half a doubt of the Undertaker's good old. As soon as I said his the steeplejack, Fred Dibner. As soon as good old Fred Dibner used to say. So I thought, okay, we'll risk taking it apart. First thing is, don't do anything without it being unplugged. That's the key, because you only touch the wrong part once, and as I say, you'll never know how much of a mistake you made. So it was riveted with 4 rivets on the bottom, so I drilled those out and took those out and basically undid the back. Now the first thing that I noticed was, yeah, it's been made clever cheap, I think is the way to put it. What they've done is, without having any support holes in the PCB, they've managed to support the PCB by having it supported by the a screw in the switch. So the switch is underneath there. There's a screw holding it on. The actual variable resistors are bolted to the front, and then in the back, the actual transformer is bolted through the casing. So you've actually got 3 points of support, but it's all done in the casing, which means 2 things. One, if you need to ever change these switches, you're going to have to rip that piece off there, which means unless you can reprint that piece again, you're going to make a right mess of that. There's nothing you can do about it. But it perhaps keeps the price down. It also means it's still British made. At the end of the day, I would say the Chinese won't find even cheaper ways of making it, and so you've got to turn around and say, well, it does feel solid, it does feel well made. So as I'm looking at it, I'm very quickly coming to the conclusion, like I've said, I'm going to have to ruin this front to get to the screws under there, and then basically get in. And as I was looking in, I noticed that the circuit board had got a slight bend on it, pushed down, and as I looked in, I could see a tiny gap in the actual side of the variable resistor. So I thought, okay, so I pushed it back on anyway. Crunched back on, I thought, it didn't sound very good. But it went back up, it went back together. I thought, I'm going to try it. So I basically plugged it back in, kept my fingers well away, and yes, all of a sudden, it worked. So what had actually happened, and I'm mentioning this as a possible fault if you've actually got a situation where those LEDs are a little bit scattery on and off, there is a possibility, like my machine, that board, whether you can do it by, I don't know how it's happened, not on my watch, but whether pressing down on this causes the board to separate those variable resistor casings, and pressing back on it, obviously not while it's plugged in, pressing back on it would cause them to go back together. But as I replugged it back in and started turning that, the LED comes on all the way around on both of them. So I'm assuming, and I haven't done a final check, and if there is a problem, I'll not put, when I do a final check, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the base on, rivet that, and then give it a final check. This video won't go to air if that's not solved the problem. So if you're watching this video, if you've got a situation where your GaugeMaster is intermittent, there's a chance that it's either been dropped or bumped or pressed on, and it's caused that casing there to separate and push the circuit board down. Give it a try, but don't do it if you're not certain of how you're doing it, and don't mess with mains if you're not happy, because you won't be there to tell me about it, but I don't want to have to be answering to your family that you're not around because you sat and listened to this idiot who's said it might just be that the variable resistor, the case is split. But give it a chance. And so this is my first ever video, prompted by need, because I was quite impressed by the build, but I was also very pleased with the fact that yes, it does look like it's had next to no work, and it was a very easy fix. Give it a try.